What's up YouTube, I'm Mike, and today I'm going to shoot a quick video talking about what it feels like to come off of a 1-year trend cycle. I made a video a while back now, I think it's been almost 9 months ago, titled What It Feels Like to Run Trenbolone for 1 year. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check that out first. That'll make this video make a lot more sense. So I have now been off of Tren for, again, I can't remember exactly how long. It's been 6 months, I think. And that was after running it in some dose or another for a 1 year period. Typically when I come off cycle, it's because I have come off of a blast. This is the first time that I have ever used another compound in my cruise period. So typically I blast and then I taper down, or I come back down to TRT only, which again, my TRT is 200 milligrams of Test E and 500 units, I think, of HCG per week. That's what I'm prescribed. We're not getting into whether or not that's really TRT. So that is the minimum amount of androgens I have run for any period of time for the past going on 4 years. So in this last year, or at the end of that period of time where I was running Tren, the minimum I ran for the entire year, the lowest dose I got to was 200 milligrams of Test E, 500 units of HCG, and 50 milligrams of Trenbolone E for 1 year. When I decided to stop the Tren, I took the Tren out of the cycle first and then got off the test. That is also atypical because usually you're on a blast, and at the end of the blast you come off and you taper back down to either you come back down to either natural or to your TRT regimen. In this case, I took the 50 milligrams of Tren out first and then went from 500 down to 200 milligrams of test. That was by far, in all of the blasting and cruising, the best way to come off androgens. I will never again just pull the plug on my androgen dose. While you could argue that it's safe to do that because long esters are effectively time-release compounds anyway, and so you never really fall off of a cliff, you're always going to just kind of come back down slower. I still feel like it just, for me, it doesn't work well with my psyche. Typically what happens to me when I come off blasts is I get very, very depressed after a relatively short period of time. Usually when I come off blast, the first 4 weeks is fine because I'm technically still on blast. It takes at least that long for long esters to come down. At the 4-week mark, when I really start to clean out, maybe closer to the 6-week mark, things start to kind of bottom out. I can usually stay on 200 milligrams of Test E alone for about 4-8 weeks tops before I'm really starting to get that itch to go back on cycle again. This is the first time that I have ever in my life, but certainly in the last 3 or 4 years, been able to come off androgens and stay off for any protracted period of time. And I believe the reason for that was because of the way I slowly tapered down. So, to be fair, maybe somebody's already picked up on this, you could make the argument, well, then again, you weren't really off for as long as you think because you took the 50 milligrams of Tren out, then you went from 500 to 300 to 200, and that took much longer period of time, and that is absolutely true. So I really don't honestly know, now that I'm making this video, I'm calling myself my own bullshit, how long I was really just on the 200 milligrams of test, because eventually I put 200 milligrams of Primo back in. Nevertheless, the way I felt coming off this cycle was one of the most noticeable things, and that is that not having the Tren in my system was a welcome change for the first time since I started running Tren. Typically when the Tren comes out of my system, I have this very short honeymoon phase where I get my smile back, I start to relax, I can enjoy more of my family time, I can go out for a couple of drinks with my wife, I'm not going to the gym as much, so I spend more time going to the park with my kids, or just being able to just enjoy life. When I'm on Tren, everything is extremely serious all of the time. There is no laughter, there is no joy, there's just a lot of grimacing face and this intense drive to just grow and progress as much as I can. And when you stay in that mode for a year straight, that type of sympathetic drive constantly pushing you, even with 50 milligrams of Tren, which was by far the most manageable dose I've ever used, it's still just a lot. And so this time it was a really welcome change to be able to get good night's sleep, to be able to have arguments with my wife that didn't turn into, total divorce situations, to not have the extreme kinds of road rage that I'm used to experiencing, to have a little bit more patience with the kids. Generally, I do really well with my kids because that was a commitment that I made to myself. The first time I ran Tren, the relationship between my daughter and I suffered. I just did not have the time for her, and I did not have the patience for her, and I am 100% positive that she noticed it, and it took us a little while to be okay again when I got off. And so I made a commitment to myself that no matter what, I would not let that relationship suffer, and I think my wife would agree that I've done a very good job of maintaining that. But it gets to a point where life ceases to be much fun when it's just work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because you're constantly focused on this singular idea. And then that brings us, of course, to the downside of being off. This is the longest I have been off since I started anabolics, going on 4 years ago. And typically what happens, and what happened eventually again on this cycle, is that when I stop trying to grow, when I stop being dedicated to my bodybuilding regimen, I start to lose meaning. Like, I start to get to the point where I just don't know what I'm doing in life. I wish I was a better person. I wish that being a good husband and a father, and when I was employed, focusing on my career, I wish that those things were enough to totally satisfy me, and that was all that I needed to exist in this world. And unfortunately, that is just not true for me. I don't know if I have a disease, if I have a personality flaw, I don't know what it is, but I just need more than that to be okay. So I see a lot in my comment section, people just saying, "Why, you've got a great wife, you've got a great family, you've got a lot of things going for you. Why don't you stop blasting and stop trying to grow and just enjoy your life and enjoy your family?" That sounds great, right? Like, obviously that's the answer. Just stop, being a bodybuilder and just enjoy life. And if I could do that and be sane, I would. And so what I have found, and what we've come back to again in this off period, is that there is a balance that has to be maintained. Obviously, blasting anabolics and trying to lift 2 hours a day, 5 days a week is on one extreme of the spectrum. But when I get completely off and I just stop lifting and just kind of, everything in life, in this last off period has just been kind of like, whatever. My wife's like, "You want to go to dinner?" Whatever. "Where do you want to go?" "I don't care." "What do you want to do tonight?" "Whatever. I'm down for whatever you are." "You want to watch this show?" "Sure, why not?" "Would you like to watch a different show?" I don't care." "You want to have sex tonight?" "Do you want to have sex tonight?" It's like I just become a non-entity. There's just nothing here. I don't care about anything. I don't even care about my own life. Like, it doesn't matter if I don't wake up tomorrow, no big deal. If I get killed in a car accident, fine. It's lightning outside, maybe I'll get struck. Like, I just don't give a shit. And so when you are that careless about your entire existence, it again becomes impossible to be a good husband, a good father, a good partner, a good employee. Like, you have to have some type of direction in your life to be able to function at any kind of reasonably productive level. And so that's what I am still trying to figure out for me, is what is the middle ground? Obviously, it can't be 1,500 milligrams of gear and 2 hours in the gym 6 days a week. Like, that is not sustainable. Sitting by a campfire, just staring off into the wilderness and absolutely giving no fucks about whether you wake up the next day is also not sustainable. So there has to be somewhere there in the middle where I can have a reasonable physique, that I can get the mental health benefits from going to the gym. I can find a dose of anabolics that's not killing me tomorrow, but is enough to satisfy all of my desires and my urges and continue to make life enjoyable. what just occurred in my life again was I got to this place where I just didn't see the reason to get out of bed in the morning. It's like for the most of my life, I have felt like our existence on this planet is just a game that you can't win. You know, like you can't get out of life alive. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how good of a father you are, how good of a husband you are. You know, you could be Elon Musk and you could conquer the cosmos, or you could be a crackhead living under a bridge. It really doesn't matter, because when you die, that's it. You know, I'm not a religious guy. I don't believe there's anything waiting for me on the other side. So no matter what I do in life, it feels like it's just a bad deal. It just feels like, why not just take yourself out tomorrow? It really just doesn't matter. Nothing we are doing here is really meaningful. And so that is one of the benefits of finding something that I can invest myself in. Again, it would be great if that thing was my family. I just need more than that in life. And when I'm training and lifting, when I'm counting my calories, when I'm checking my macros, when I'm measuring my biceps in the mirror with the tape, that is what makes me feel most alive. And when I feel alive, I care about tomorrow. I care about the future of my family. I care about the future for my children. I care about making smart financial decisions and smart relationship decisions. That's when I can function on all cylinders. And so that is the goal that I am trying to achieve. How can I find this sweet spot in life that will make me the best person that I can be? And so that's what I'm about to embark on again. So if you care to know about the future, what's coming up is right now, currently, I just increased my doses. I'm back up to 500 milligrams of Test E per week and 200 milligrams of Primo E per week. I'm going to wait about 4 weeks. I just started the 500 milligram dose, so I'm going to wait about 4 weeks until my dose starts to plateau and I reach peak serum concentration, and then I'm likely, almost certainly, going to drop the Primo and add back in the Trenbolone at 50 milligrams a week. So we'll have 500 milligrams a week of Test E, 50 milligrams a week of Trenbolone E, and I'm gonna wait about 3 to 4 weeks for the Trenbolone to stabilize, and then we're gonna put back in 50 milligrams of Anadrol a week for hopefully 6 weeks. That is gonna be the cycle that I'm going to try to run and eat a reasonable amount of calories, not force feeding to gain as much weight as possible. Try to eat in some type of reasonable amount that it will allow me to still enjoy time with my family. Train 3 to 4 days a week so that I have more time with my family. Basically, I'm trying to just find a happy middle ground with all of these things. When all of those hormones get stable in my system, then we'll do some blood work and we'll find out just how sustainable that level of anabolics is for any lengthy amount of time. I really believe, after all of the anabolics that I've run, that the sweet spot is Test, Tren, and Anadrol. The only thing I think I might change is if the Anadrol is too toxic on my system, then I might run Test, Tren, and Anavar instead. But that is obviously yet to be determined. So I think what I'm going to try to do is make some follow-up videos on this sort of middle of the road lifestyle that I'm going to attempt, and let you know how that's going. How am I feeling once the 500 milligrams comes full force in my system? What does it feel like going back on the 50 milligrams, and is it sustainable? And if we make it that far without having a major divorce or blowing up my trailer or killing somebody, then maybe we can get back to the 50 milligrams of Anadrol and run all this together and see if we cannot together come up with the ideal anabolic, cocktail for effectively a lifestyle client. I have also been thinking about taking on some clients from a coaching perspective. I've been batting a bunch of ideas around. I get contacted not infrequently about whether or not I will do coaching, and I'm thinking about doing, whether it's coaching slash, what's the term? Just advising someone. There's a term, I can't think of it. So I'm thinking about doing something really basic like that. I've had a couple of people who are really kind and drop $50 tips on my YouTube channel. And I'm thinking about just starting at $50 and give you all the access that you want to, anabolic idea, you know, cycles, training regimens, diets, but I'm not going to do the cookie cutter. Here's your workout plan. Here's your diet protocol. Basically, just be a conversation between the two of us where I can share some of my ideas, some of the things that have worked for me, go over some of the things that you're working with, and then we can together try to work on getting you to wherever you want to be. Because at the end of the day, really what I am is a lifestyle bodybuilder. I'm not a competitive athlete. At this point in my life, I probably never will be. So what I'm trying to figure out is what is the perfect combination of hormones, training, and diet that will allow me to live this lifestyle for as long as possible and continue to be a functional member in society and a husband and a father and all those good things. So if that is interesting to you, please let me know in the comments section. Please continue to follow along with all my videos. There's gonna be a lot of stuff coming up soon. My wife is considering starting a channel of her own. She's got a bunch of ideas that will connect well with my channel. So if that happens, I will definitely let you guys know. And also my son has been nagging me forever to give him a plug. He has been doing YouTube for a long time. My battery's about to die. He's been doing YouTube for a long time. He is Tomahawk Twizzler. As always, I hope this has been informative. Protect the cycle, and we'll see you on the next one.